All right, so just went to the store. I didn't get really too much. I'm actually about to get like some gas and just vacuum my seat a little bit and my floor of my car. But anyway, um I guess I can resume for a little bit to talk about some more things. So I'm looking at the murder rate in Philadelphia. It was a little under 400, 2005, but there was no talks of it being like violent because it seemed like it was like that prior to 2005. Since I was born, the murder rate was always under 400. And understand, with a city that's big, population like over 1 million, you're gonna have people getting killed in the hundreds because there's more people. But the majority of the people that were killed were black people from other black people. So this is before. Let me just throw this in here too. I don't know anything about police brutality. I don't know nothing about racism. I'm aware that I'm black. My dad informed me about the red, black, and green symbol. That's like the official flag for our race. It's actually a Pan-African flag. Marcus Garvey started, I believe. That was, I remember we were at like some kind of rally or something, and he informed me about that flag. But my school informed me of my race, and my dad mainly. My mom, who would take us to get haircuts and do things downtown, she would say things about like let me just tell you this. I didn't have a bad mom, but when she was younger, she was a little bit of like the stereotypical black mom. As in, because I understand the way my parents' marriage ended, that may have contributed to her being the way she was over the years. But let me tell you something. You know when your black mom gets into it with like another black mom at school or on the train or whatever? That's happened before, where she would go off on somebody. Like this is one thing if she were with me right now, she would agree with this. 3 things she would say a lot. If something didn't go her way or something wasn't right, she'd be like, these people out here got some serious issues. People out here got some serious issues. Another one was just ignorant. Just ignorant. Like she'll say that, and then she'll just blow her breath if something she didn't approve of happened. So, like I said, she did the best she could, but things would have been a lot better if we were more of a family. Even if that meant them still being in the same house, because we love to say how we care about kids, don't mess with kids, but it seems that black families, and let me say this is not a political video, and if you got a problem with what I said, I'm sorry, but let's focus on the issue, because I hate when people always got to bring in other groups of people when you try to talk about an issue that's going on. Like, let me just say this: I don't got to deal with that shit anymore. I don't worry about black families. I'm really not around too many black people, to be honest. I'm really just by myself most of the time. But my point I'm making is this: when you're trying to bring attention to an issue, and people have to say like, oh, white families, they're just as worse. You're trying to get me to stop talking about the issue. Please don't do that, because it's like you're trying to disregard. You're trying to just, what's the word? You're trying to make it like the issue I'm trying to bring like attention to isn't very important. But black families love to say how don't mess with kids, don't mess with children. If you got a crime that involves kids, I'm not fucking with you. But we as a race are like we're very anti-family, as in we don't do anything to get married when we have kids. It's never any sense of planning when you do have kids, because I told you, black kids are just products of fucking. They're not planned by two people that just say, hey, we got married last week, how about we start having some kids? No, my brother is the result of my dad fucking my mom, and I'm the result of my dad fucking my mom. He only married her because it was like I guess it was time to ask her to pop the to take a knee and ask her, do you want to get married? Because he had kids with her. I don't think he, because he was 35 when he had me. Because when men to settle down and they get all that out of their system, that's when they want to marry the woman they have kids with. But back to what I was saying. 2005, good year. Like I said, we were introduced to, so we had all 3 Grand Theft Auto games. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 3. We didn't really like that one very much. And San Andreas. So the friend Devon, that was a friend of my brother, he let us borrow the game, but he never asked for it back. But that introduced us to rap music from the 90s, because we didn't naturally know about. So check this out. So that game and a few other games like Def Jam Vendetta and some soundtracks from games that we had over the years introduced us to 90s rap. Snoop Dogg, of course, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, NWA, and we over time, it really wasn't it wasn't 05, because we weren't really downloading music like that. We were really buying the song from we were buying the CDs. But around that time, we were really surprised. We were really perplexed by seeing a rapper like Ice Cube, for example. Ice Cube is a rapper, is an actor. So this movie that we saw, because my dad was getting a lot of movies from this guy named Mr. Doug at his job. Any movie that we wanted to see, he would get from Mr. Doug. So I didn't see this movie called Are We There Yet? I didn't see it in theaters. But when it was available on DVD, maybe 4th grade, everything had to take 5 weeks to be on DVD. When I saw Are We There Yet? Or the show, or the Romeo Show, right? There was a show on Nickelodeon called The Romeo Show. I only watched it for 1 season, because the second season, it just felt like it was more for teenagers, and I was a 10-year-old, and I couldn't understand certain themes in the show. But there were no girls on that show that I found attractive. But anyway, Master P was a rapper. Well, he still is a rapper in real life. So my brother would somehow find a way to show me music by these people I see on TV. I'm seeing Ice Cube curse in his music, or mainly Master P. Remember Master P had a song, and he was like, this is Master P from the Romeo Show, he curses in his music? Or there was the only rap that we really listened to was the 90s rap, like Too Short, because we really got into it, because we had the game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It was on the West Coast. It was based in the West Coast. And we only listened to the West Coast music. We really didn't get into from the 90s, because we really weren't into like 80s rap. It was really 90s rap that was like our thing. So like I said, around that time we were listening to music from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. We were downloading on the computer. And around this time as well, like I said, 50 Cent's movie called Get Rich or Die Trying is in theaters. around the end of '05. So that song Window Shopper was really popular around school. I remember this kid Brian said he said Justin's window shopper, and I was like, you heard that from that music video? Because I don't know how I heard the song, because my brother, I don't know when he got the soundtrack, but he had the soundtrack for the movie. And we listened to that. Every song on there we know. Like the I Whip Your Head Boy, Hustler's Ambition, Officer Down. Every song on there we knew because we played it on the radio whenever we were like just in our room or downstairs or whatever. We had that song playing. And this is my brother also had a girlfriend around the time too. Like I said, I'm gonna talk. This is like '05. So for Christmas that year, we get the same like gifts. This time though, my brother had he had like a little steering wheel for Grand Theft Auto, where you can, when you drive the car, he had an actual steering wheel that went with the game. But we never properly had that set up right where we used it all the time. We hardly ever used that thing, because it also had the controls on it where you could just walk and run instead of using the steering wheel. But we got that for Christmas, and I really forgot what else I got for Christmas that year. But this is the ending of '05, and just to sum everything up, my teacher, who I mentioned was my brother's 4th grade teacher. He was actually my 5th grade teacher that year, and we really didn't get along. He was really he was real creepy to be around. I personally think he was a pedophile, because he would grind up against my desk sometimes, and I think he treated me a little differently because my mom, what my mom did to him, like one time, she honked at him one time or something. He was nice to my brother, but he was real like mean to me. I really didn't like him as a teacher. I think he was a pedophile. What else? That was my teacher. I did pretty average in his class. You know, sometimes I got sent down. I stopped fighting because they put a rule into effect where if you fight, you get suspended. There's no more you get sent to the office. No, you get suspended. And I couldn't risk that happening, so I didn't want to get in trouble. But 5th grade that year, we started pretty late because of it was a storm that really messed up the building, the top of the roof, so they had to get that fixed. So we went to school pretty late. But this is when Hurricane Katrina happened, and the whole country is against Bush because of his lack of concern. He did really nothing when all those people were dying. And I'm only going based off of what I see on TV. So my soon-to-be crush, Jamie Lynn Spears, who's from Louisiana, she does like a little PSA about Louisiana's hurricane. And so is Little Romeo, who's from Louisiana as well. He does a little PSA about it. But you hear around school, Kanye West said George Bush doesn't care about black people. And this is when I'm introduced to his music in the car, because it's the first song that he played that I heard in the car was Gold Digger. And I didn't know what that meant. So I heard the lyrics, and they were talking about how a girl likes a guy for the things that he has. And me and my dad was talking about it a little bit. He just said, this is when girls like you for, not for your looks, but for your money. But I was like, shouldn't it just be you like a girl likes you for you? And he's like, it should be like that, but that's just how it is. So Concepta went on strike that year, so he was driving us to school and picking us up sometimes too. Because this is when we get a car. We get like a little blue car from my aunt. She gave us this little hoopty, little Chevrolet. I think she gave us that. I don't know how we got that car. But this is when we're introduced to rap music. And also, my mom, see, television is changing. I don't know where everybody is who watches the channel, what regions you're in, but in my coast, we had Comcast, which is today known as Xfinity. So Comcast was our provider for my mom And my dad had at the time, he just had regular cable at that moment. So also this feature on Comcast called Music Choice is also introduced to me, where I'm able to listen to like music videos of songs I hear on the radio. I'm not going to know them if I don't hear them on the radio. So songs that I knew of '05, Lighters Up by Lil' Kim, Lighters Up, Laffy Taffy by D4L, Oh I Think They Like Me by the Franchise Boys. That was a hit of that year. We Be Burning by Sean Paul. Temperature. No, the Temperature came out in the following year. As a single. Riding Dirty, Chamillionaire. Gold Digger, Kanye West. Cause understand, if it's not a popular song, it won't get airplay on the radio. But East Coast stations don't play local West Coast artists or local Midwest artists. They only play any artist. Like, so another genre that was really popular, even though it's a different state. So Baltimore's club music, like there are songs on the show called The Wire. I didn't know about The Wire when it came out because we didn't have HBO. We didn't pay money to see HBO, but there are like songs from the show The Wire that were played on the radio in Philly. So songs like Dance My Pain Away, type in Baltimore club music, or type in It's Time for the Percolator, Watch Out for the Big Girls, You Big Dummy. That was a big Baltimore club song. Baltimore like club music was becoming popular in Philadelphia. And like I said, we listened to mostly like New York rappers, Philly rappers, anybody that was close by. That was like the rappers that we listened to. We really didn't listen to West Coast music unless it was from like the 90s. So I know it's the notion for a lot of people is Tupac and Biggie are the greatest rappers alive. Well, oh yeah, by the way too, Lil Wayne, he also had Lil Wayne's Carter 2 album. But I want to just talk about this. We didn't know who Tupac was when we were 10 and 11. Because I remember I mentioned him to somebody and I pronounced his name wrong. I thought his name was Tupac. I used to say Tupac. I didn't know the Shakur part. But when I saw him on like a website, I thought he was a lot bigger. Because they had like a little painting of Tupac. I used to call him Tupac. And Biggie's music was not really, it wasn't really celebrated. Like I know those are the two greatest rappers. In my opinion, just my opinion, I think Ice Cube is better than both Tupac and Biggie. Because they died, that gives them that status of legends and greatest MCs ever. But personally, I think it's a lot of rappers that are still alive today that are better than both of them combined. You know, if you really want my opinion, I think Nas is better than Biggie. I don't think Tupac was the best rapper ever, but that's because also I didn't grow up in that era. I grew up in the 2000s. If I didn't know who Tupac was, I would say 50 Cent and Jay-Z are the greatest rappers. Beanie Sigel is the greatest rapper. But everybody has their opinion. But anyway, 05 is ending. And this time, like I said, we were able to get our gifts this time. We didn't open them. I don't remember opening them, like going downstairs and going under a tree and opening them. I think the same thing happened where we eventually opened them up at my dad's house. So that whole finding things under the tree stopped. And we're going into 06 because I also want to tell you guys this. I was taking for extra activity that they were offering at school. They were offering ballroom dancing. I was dancing in school, It was a little program that they offered, ballroom dancing, and it was based on a documentary. So we didn't have any interaction with the girls. Most of us didn't, but we had to dance with girls in our fifth grade class. I danced with a girl that I really liked named Tamani. I danced with her. She was my partner originally, but I think she moved away to Delaware. She was my partner. And then I had somebody else. But I remember that they based a lot of this off of a movie from 1994. It was these kids that were the same age as us. They were 10 years old too. And they were dancing with girls. And they were trying to get us. See, if they would have... let me tell you this one too. I was on the news and I didn't even know it. They had me on the news because I was talking in the camera, and I didn't even know they aired that shit. Because my aunt, she called the house and said, I didn't know Justin was on TV. And they I don't know if they still got the footage, but they had this little segment on 6ABC called Fast Forward. It was for ballroom dancing, and I was featured on that segment. Cause I was showing off my dance moves to my dad's girlfriend. We were sort of like dancing on New Year's Day. I remember we were downstairs dancing. I was showing her how to dance. But that's something that we did in school. And I'm going to conclude it with this. So 2006 is approaching, and I still have my favorite cartoons like SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents. Fairly Odd Parents sort of ended that year. They stopped showing the Fairly Odd Parents. I'm getting a lot of influence too by like movies that my dad is getting from Mr. Doug. So a lot of movies that I'm watching, like that aren't really for me, but we're somehow watching them anyway. Movies like what's a movie? Because they were movies that I should have been watching, but we were watching anyway, and he didn't have a problem with it. But I remember but I really watched movies for kids, like this movie called Yours, Mine, and Ours. I like that movie. I got Winn-Dixie because of Winn-Dixie with Anna Sophia Robb. I really watched movies for kids, but it was times when I watched movies that weren't really from my age group. And this is around this time. I remember The Longest Yard, right? Whenever they would show little previews, people don't watch DVDs anymore, but whenever they show previews for movies, I heard about this cartoon that was real funny to me and was real explicit called Beavis and Butthead. They were talking about the Mike Judge collection on the Longest Yard DVD. And I'm just telling myself, what is this show? Because I want to see what it's about. Because I remember Beavis was talking about the band Pantera, and I just found it funny that they were cursing and being rude and ignorant. And I'm like, I want to see, how do I watch this show? So that kind of comes in later. I forgot how I got introduced to watching it on TV because the internet wasn't really popping back then. But 2006, I'm approaching my 11th birthday. George Bush is president. And nothing bad really goes on. I believe, though, this is when, because I don't get my first key until later on, but me and my brother are old enough to go to school by ourselves. My dad works during the day, but we go to school with each other. We wake each other up. My dad wakes us up and we leave, and we catch the trolley 13 with each other, and I always get there safely. But sometimes he'll just let me, walk the rest of the way by myself. Like I said, school was that. This video is getting kind of long, but I'll resume talking about this on I'll talk about my 11th birthday, but I want to just throw this part in. The rapper that I mentioned, Young Spittage, the one who was my dad's girlfriend's um, nephew, he was shot and gunned down like a few days after my 11th birthday. He was shot. He was shot. He wasn't the intended target, but he was killed like days later after my birthday, and I really didn't find out about it until a lot later. I didn't know who he was, what his music was about, but we had his music downloaded on the computer, and that wasn't the first murder that I heard about that year. It's many more to come, but I'm gonna end it with that. Peace.